Hi, welcome to Cruise Control. My name's Eric, and today we talk about two hatchbacks, one from Honda, one from Mazda, but both with a manual transmission. Let's talk about that right now.
Welcome to Cruise Control. My name is Eric, and we're going to start looking at some new cars and used cars to find out what's the best option for you. Let's see what's up next.
All right, everybody, let's do a Save the Manuals hatchback kind of a build today. I really like manuals. The car that I own right now is a 2009 Honda Civic Coupe. It's an orange pearl. It's an SI, and it's fun to take to the track. Revs real nice. Got a really good manual, and most of the cars I've ever owned have been in manual. I've owned 6 Honda Civics. 5 of them were manual. 1 was an automatic. I know, sacrilegious. But let's talk about Save the Manuals right now with 2 fun hatchbacks that are relatively reasonably priced. Inflation can't help it. Back in the day, I would have never thought I would spend this much on a hatchback, but these are today's prices, so let's talk about them. These are the top trim models with a manual. Well, the Mazda only comes with the top trim manual, so I didn't want to compare that with the lower level Civic Sport that has less power and less features, and let's just be honest, I wouldn't want to buy that one anyways. So we're going to look at both of these. They're very similarly priced, but the Mazda does come out a little bit cheaper, but it also gives you a little bit less. So let's go ahead and take a little short dive into what these offer, and then we'll talk about styling, which one I prefer. And honestly, at the end, you'll see that I really want to cross between the two. So with the 2021 Mazda 3, the top trim with the manual starts off at $28,995. This is before you add any extras, even paint colors. There's a few paint colors that are for free, so thank you, Mazda, for giving us options on free paint colors. Honda only gives you one color, and it's black. So Henry Ford said a long time ago, you can have it any color you want as long as it comes with black, and apparently Honda said the same thing. They do give you 2 additional colors to choose from, white or gray, but those cost extra, around $400 each for those paint jobs. The interior choices are also different. In the Mazda, you have 2 choices. You have a black interior trim or a black with red accents, and that kind of livens it up a little bit. With the Honda, again, they're sticking with just the black interior trim. That's the only option. You can't even pay for anything extra if you're buying the manual. Now, if you're getting the automatic, you have a couple of choices with like a white ivory looking interior or black, but not with the manual. So there's less options with the Honda right off the bat, which I don't like. I understand why they're doing it because not many people buy a manual anymore anyways. So they're not wanting to make a bunch of different colors and choices, things that are just going to sit on the lot, and they're not going to make their money. I get it, Honda, but it's still sad that there's only 1 free color choice, 2 optional, and no interior choices. So point to Mazda. We'll try to keep track of the tallies on the points there, but right off the bat, Mazda has color choices. Mazda has a cheaper starting price. Honda's starting price is $30,415. Again, that's with the free color. But we're going to get into what the Honda gives you a little bit extra. So right now, point for Mazda on price, point for Mazda on color choices. So that's 2 points total for Mazda right now. Let's get to the power. 186 horsepower at 6,000 RPM, 186 foot-pounds of torque at 4,000 RPM inside the Mazda. The Honda has 180 horsepower from a turbocharged 1.5 liter versus the naturally aspirated 2.5 in the Mazda, and 177 foot-pounds of torque. But the torque does go from 1,700 RPM to 4,500 RPM, so you got that nice wide torque curve. Now, just based on these alone, I'd have to give the point to Mazda. However, I've driven both of these. Albeit I haven't driven the manual in the 11th gen. I've only driven the CVT in the 11th gen, but I have driven the manual and the CVT. I own the CVT in the 10th gen. And that engine from the Honda is actually faster than this one over here. So just on horsepower and torque alone, I have to give the point to Mazda. So that's 3 points to Mazda to 0 so far with the Civic. Now, the next one up here is fuel economy. Fuel economy for the Mazda is 24 miles per gallon in the city, 33 on the highway, 27 combined, but it does use regular fuel, which is nice. A lot of cars today require premium, so that's nice that that one is regular. And 27 combined is really good. The Honda, though, gets 28 in the city, 37 on the highway, 31 miles per gallon combined. So 1 point back to the Honda. So 3-1 for those of you guys keeping score. So as we keep going down through here, let's go ahead and look at the weight. The weight is so close. It's a 14-pound difference here. So the lightweight is 3,022 pounds for the Mazda 3 versus the heavier 3,036 pounds for the Civic. So extra point goes to the Mazda. So 4-1. Turning circle for the Mazda is 37.3. Turning circle for the Honda is 38.1. 5 points to 1 on the Honda. I mean, for the Mazda versus the Honda. Tire size, though, 215 45/18s on the Mazda versus 235 40/18s for the Honda. 2 points. Now we're at 5-2. All right, so the length of the vehicle, I'm not going to give this a plus or a minus. This is, some people may want it to be smaller. Some people may want it to be bigger. Point being here, 175.6 inches for the Mazda versus 179 inches for the Honda. So you may want something that's a little longer. You may want something that's a little bit shorter. Those points could go either way. Here's some very definitive numbers, though, on the inside. So when we're going to go to, let's say, headroom. So 37.5 inches for the front in the Mazda, 37.6 in the Honda. 1/10 of an inch isn't enough for me to give a point. But for the headroom in the back, 36.5 versus 37.1. So I'm going to give that to Honda a point there because that's almost a full inch. And that can actually make a difference if someone can fit in the rear of the car or not. So now we're 5-3, Mazda versus Honda. Shoulder room, we're at 57 for the Honda versus 54 for the Mazda. That is a huge difference. 56 in the rear for the Honda, 53 for the Mazda. So again, another point goes to the Honda. So now we're at 5-4. Let's go leg room. This is really big. So leg room, we're at 42.3 and 42.3 for both in the front. Sounds good. The back should be pretty close as well. 35.1 for the Mazda, but 37.4. So we're talking a little over 2 inches more in the back of the Honda. So now we're 5-5 because both of those are very close. These things go back and forth, and each one gives you something a little bit different. What I don't like about the Mazda is it does not have a independent rear suspension in the back. It has a torsion beam, and I've driven it, and it's okay if you're in the front seat. But if you're in the back seat, it's not okay. You feel every bump, and it's not fun. It's very jarring, and I don't like it. From the front seat, it's not terrible because you're closer to the front suspension. If you're going to go around track and do some things, you're going to also feel it. But just day-to-day driving, you don't notice it as much until you go drive the Civic. And then you realize what the car should have felt like. And the Civic definitely rides more comfortably. I did my video. You can check that out. It's going to be in the description down below. I did my review on the new Civic Touring. I did it with the CVT, and it was very comfortable, very composed, very quiet, very upscale. Throttle response on the CVT wasn't great. I'm hoping it's going to be better with the manual. It should be, since this is the sportier one that they're trying to sell here in the hatchback. But both of these cars are cool in their own regards. Things that I like better about the Mazda, I think it looks better, just being honest. Especially in hatchback form to hatchback, I think the Mazda looks better. Sedan to sedan, I might still lean towards the Mazda, but the Civic looks really good in sedan form too. Not that it looks bad in hatchback, but I think the Mazda takes the cake there. It looks a little bit better. Although you'd have better viewing angles out of the Civic than you will out of the Mazda because that rear quarter panel in the Mazda is so much bigger than the one in the Civic. I like the interior better in the Mazda. The Honda is very close, but I just don't like only a black interior color option. If there was something else with the manual, I might call it a tie. But I do not like just black on black. I currently have black interior because that's the only color choice the Civic Si comes in. I'm just not a big fan of only black interior. So I like that there's a little bit of red to break up the color palette inside the Mazda. I like the fuel economy that's inside the Honda. I like the rear space that's inside the Honda. So I'm going to go back and forth between the two. I'd have to drive them both back to back to give you a definitive answer of which one I actually enjoy driving, not so much who I'm going to put in the back seat, because that's not me, that's somebody else that's going to be in the back seat. But I still try to make sure other people are going to be comfortable. Let's say we're going to go for a long drive. Or what if I need to go pick stuff up? Then there's going to be more cargo space that's going to be inside the hatchback of the Civic versus the hatchback of the Mazda. So if you want something that's a little bit smaller and looks a little bit better, in my opinion, you're going to go for the Mazda, and cheaper, don't forget that. But you want better fuel efficiency, because who doesn't want to save money at the gas pump? Then you could recover some of that money over, let's say, a 5-year ownership, right? Because it's only $1,420. With the way gas prices are right now, you got 4 miles per gallon average. You might eventually recover that cost. It would take you a while. You'd have to drive a lot of miles, but you might recover that cost. And you do get a couple of things inside the Civic that you just can't get inside the Mazda, which is just size. You know, you just get more space, more headroom, more legroom, more shoulder room. You just get a little bit more room. But what would you guys choose? Or would you guys choose something else? My name's Eric. This is Cruise Control. Thank you for watching.